Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on another video. So today we are working on the first project for the floor loom I have named after my Aunt Dorothy. And while I am working on winding the final yarn here for the weft, this is the Rainbow Monet or fractal, soft fractal weft yarn. And while I'm getting this together and warping, creating the warp out of the individual colors, I would like to give a very warm welcome to new viewers and a welcome back to returning viewers. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos as they come out. And as always, leave your comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. I really appreciate all the new subscribers and the comments, shares, everything has really been helping my channel a lot. And I wanted to let you know that I appreciate you very, very much. All right, so my mom was filming for me. I'm doing this at her house because the loom, at the time I'm recording this, the loom is living at my mom's, but by the time you see it, the loom will be living at my house. So that's exciting. I have been able to make room for it, and I am delighted because I don't get to drive 20 minutes to my mom's very often. I just don't have the time. But anyways, it's not a huge ordeal, and I hope to still go to my mom's on the regular because I do need to upload videos at her house. So I will go to see her on the regular still, even though the loom is not there. We were concerned at first that the beater here that is holding the reed was on the loom backwards, but after doing some research, that shelf at the front is supposed to support the warp threads while you're throwing the boat shuttle through. That way the boat shuttle doesn't put too much stress on the warp. And in that regard, the loom is set up correctly. I just can't advance the loom as far as I would like to. So, and I don't think that has anything to do with that little shelf there. I think it has to do with how the beater works. Because that bar doesn't actually touch the front beam when you beat. So anyway, a little picture of the threading the heddles. And what I did was I tied up 2 of the heddles so they were fairly short. And then I only use the other 2. This is a counterbalance loom, so if you're only using 2 heddles, it's not going to work properly unless you tie up the other 2. So I did. And then I found out that these little bobbins that go in the boat shuttles fit on the tip of my spinning wheel shaft, the flyer shaft. And so I was able to treadle the spinning wheel and load up my little bobbins. If you don't have something that it fits on perfectly, there's a little device you can buy that fits in the in your drill, and you can load it with the drill. Winding these by hand is a pain and takes forever. I've done it, but it's not fun. And then here you can see I am used to using a rigid heddle loom. I am not used to using a floor loom. So I am treating this like it's a rigid heddle. I'm being very careful with my edges and didn't understand right away how this loom really operates. Now, if you look underneath where I'm working, you can see the apron is that white fabric, and then you can see the dowel that is in between the fabric and the warp threads. I had to sew the dowel to the apron because the loops that the apron has on it broke. And I think that's just wear and tear. I don't think I did anything wrong. They were already getting a little bit worn and they just popped off. So I had to sew it together. So when I get the loom to my house, I have a bit of work to do to fix it up. But this happened on the back beam, on the back apron as well, once I got to the end of the warp. And so I had to stop and sew that one together so that I could finish my weaving. And I did use the entirety of my weft yarn, which means that I calculated my warp accurately. I'm very happy about that. I had, after doing the last hem stitch, I think I had about 3 inches of yarn left. So that was cutting it kind of close. But I'm very happy with how this turned out, and it's nothing like I expected. The weft yarn, I probably should have used it with a plain gray, black, or white background warp, because you really can't see the nuances in it with the multicolored rainbow warp. But it's lovely, it's beautiful, and my edges are surprisingly neat. Now, there is a section where my mom did the weaving, and the edges are drastically different in a little 1-inch section. And I decided to leave that because that's a touch of my mother. Okay, this is what I was doing wrong. This is not how you advance the loom. You advance the loom sitting in front of it. You don't have to do all this weird stuff I'm doing. So I'm trying to turn the back apron beam, I forget what it's called, and while standing on the release lever and trying to advance the front. And that's not the way to do it. So what I just did here was the accurate way to actually do it. And you can see you don't have to stand there and stretch your body out to reach both ends at once. Oh, that was great. So I got as close to the end of my warp as I could, and then ran out of yarn, of course, which is not a big deal. But look at that fabric! Like, oh my god, it is so incredibly beautiful. And yes, I had a little thick piece of paper I had in there to help balance out a little tension in consistency from where the front apron had broken. And when I sewed it together, I had one edge just a little bit loose. So I had put that little piece of paper in there to help even out the tension, and that made a big difference. So this project included getting to know the loom, troubleshooting issues that pop up during weaving, and figuring out that the way I started doing things is not necessarily the best way, and I learned a lot. And now I'm getting ready to head over to my mom's, and by the time you see this, this will have already happened. But I'm recording the voiceover the day I'm doing this. So I'm getting ready to go to my mom's and take the loom apart and bring it home. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.